All right, everyone, Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, the meme review, software releases, the websites by plebes. Drop us a like and subscribe. All right, going to the numbers. Let's go. All right. We are currently at a block height of 672,894. Current Bitcoin price, 48,235. Chain rewrite days, 612. Total lightning capacity, 1,102.53 BTC. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, bit of a slip, 7.94%. And the sats per dollar, still above 2K, 2,073.
Man, for some reason, I get the most bullish when you say the sats per dollar. I'm like looking at
Me
like
too.
it's like wow,
That's the one.
That's the one. That's the one that we should always be looking at. It's not the price; it's the sats per dollar. That's the real war.
Exactly.
For anyone who's confused as to why there's a rubber chicken, this is Satoshi, the Bitcoin chicken. He clucks every time the price of Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, which is not today, but is coming very soon, hopefully. Phil, that being said, it's time for
the daily fail. All right, guys. So, Jared Dillon writes, "This is the main reason why I sold." Our buddy Ral Pal. So, as it's Saturday night, I want to ask BTC Twitter a question. You're generally libertarians in philosophy, right? And I am the founder of a media platform that encourages free speech. But if I book someone who is not a Bitcoiner, you are an outrage, huh? What the fuck, people? Okay. So look. This is the whole point. Bitcoin is the money of enemies. Okay? We don't have to agree on anything else. We really don't. But we agree on Bitcoin. It's all that matters. So this, that guy, like Jared Dillon, like, have fun staying poor, bud. I mean, you left because your feelings got hurt. I mean, this is total BS. Like, I don't understand this.
It's what I love. It's very nice of Twitter to identify people that are going to have bad takes on Bitcoin. They put a nice little blue check mark next to them, and that's just letting you know that they are more prone to lying, and they will give you a terrible reason as to why not to invest in Bitcoin. So thank you. Shout out to Twitter. Extremely thoughtful. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, Phil, man, you're exactly right. Jared Dillon is going to have fun staying poor. Absolutely. That being said, Phil, it's time for
the daily meme review.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by a Simply Bitcoin meme lord, the Greg Zag 1. Awesome meme. Jack Mahlers, ICO offender, RD Mahlers, remember, no fees. And it's just them massacring all the the payment. Man, look, this is the meme did super well on Twitter. For anyone that didn't know, that's from the Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare, the first one. That's the mission No Russian. It's this famous mission where they just devour all these civilians in the airport, and they just replaced that with, man, such a good meme, so thought out. But if you don't know Modern Warfare, you're not going to understand it, I guess. I mean, but it's still going to make you laugh. I guess it still makes sense. But anyways, that being said, Phil, I'm going to give that bubble wrap score. I think it's a good score. What would you give it?
I mean, look, even like, so check this out, right? I don't, I didn't play any of those video games. I don't even know the relevance, but I still found it funny, and I still found it relevant, because even if you don't know what it's about, you quickly understand what the scene is about. So, I mean, it's still, it's still relevant, it's still funny, and yeah, I think it's still a little bit niche. I mean, we all know who Jack Mahlers is, but like, does the rest of the world really know who he is? So, I mean, look, still funny, did very well on Twitter. Definitely a Bitcoiners meme. I'm kind of torn. I think I'm gonna go with a banana. A solid banana from me.
I love our new scoring system. It's solid scores. Bubble wrap and bananas. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Phil,
I mean, oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
It's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by crypto cloaks.
All right, everybody. The news for today, a lot of interesting stories. But anyways, I thought this tweet was very interesting. I guess it's a piece of news. Not really, but check this out. 14.6 million bolivars. That's the fiat money of the fiat Venezuelan money. And it literally only buys you 5 pounds of chicken. Like, that is such a strong image of where all fiat is going, or where we believe fiat is going. The next tweet is brought to us by BTC_archive. Venture capitalist Tim Draper predicts Netflix will be the next big company to buy Bitcoin. This is absolutely massive. We've been reporting on Simply Bitcoin that we think that the next Fortune 500 company, we think that that it would just be normal for another Fortune 500 company to add Bitcoin to its reserves following Tesla and MicroStrategy, right? But all this just makes me feel happy that I have opted out of their crazy system, Phil. The U.S. national debt just hit $28 trillion for the first time. What are your thoughts on that? That's a really big number.
Yeah, that's a giant fail. But you know what? I mean, it doesn't really matter. There's no such thing, right? We don't really owe this money. It's all good. We just keep printing it, so it's all good. Yeah, but anyways, but there was I'm sorry, I wanted to go back to, I don't know if it was the second tweet or the first one that you had up. I right now it's totally slipping my mind.
Let me, yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, not the Netflix one.
The cash.
Yeah, exactly. That is scary as fuck. Okay, that is totally scary. It really, really is. Like, when I saw that, I mean, I then start to think, like, how long does it take for somebody to earn that amount of money, Like, what's the minimum wage in that country and everything like that? Like, it's just, do they even have a minimum wage? I have no idea.
But they can't. Like, think about all the finances just stop. You can't.
I know. Like, that's, like, to me, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what is that 5 million, like? Anyways.
It's just really crazy. It's crazy, and man, it's scary. It's absolutely scary. And man, what happens when that comes to a Western country? If it comes to a Western country, we believe it does, because every fiat has just decreased in value over its lifetime. So it would be absolutely terrifying to see that happen in a Western country that has never experienced that historically. Yeah. The reaction of the people is just going to be utter shock, Oh,
yeah. Let me, for that Tim Draper tweet though, did he give the reasons why he thought Netflix? Because
no.
I do kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't surprise me, but I feel like it's going to be a company closer to the Tesla circle.
Yeah. So Tim Draper works in that kind of, like, he works, that's, he lives there, so maybe he heard something.
Okay.
And perhaps that's why he's saying that. But Phil, it wouldn't surprise me, and we've been covering this like since the beginning, right? We covered Elon, essentially saying that he liked Bitcoin and changed his mind on Bitcoin on the Clubhouse recording, and then a week later Tesla just announces that they're going to buy Bitcoin. So things are going to move very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if it was announced tomorrow, next week, another major corporation saying, listen, I want to opt out of this craziness, of this unlimited money printing. I want to put my reserves into something harder and stronger, right? So, yeah, man, it wouldn't surprise me. But let's see. I'm going to take the cautious approach like you always do. The next piece of news is brought to us by a tweet by Michael Saylor. Institutional adoption of Bitcoin strengthens with the arrival of Goldman Sachs to the marketplace. This was the Reuters, a very reputable news source. And I talked to a buddy of mine that does work at Goldman. And essentially he told me that it's not the wealth management division. It's the trading division. So it's not that Goldman Sachs is going to have any exposure or, like he said, risk to Bitcoin. But it's a good sign, I guess. Not that it matters, not that Honey Badger cares, But it's a good sign that I guess that they're opening trading, which means that you can infer that they have some type of demand, right? Their individuals, their clients are saying, listen, we want to buy Bitcoin, right? So that's the only reason that they would open the trading desk. However, Goldman Sachs themselves, according to a buddy of mine, doesn't have any exposure, doesn't plan to have any exposure to Bitcoin, and isn't recommending that to their clients as well, right?
Interesting. I wonder if that's really true though behind closed doors, right?
I don't trust a word he said.
Don't get me, they're, at the end of the day, they're always seeking alpha, right? They're always seeking profit. And Bitcoin is, regardless of all the other aspects of it, in terms of right now with markets, Bitcoin is the only game in town.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, they're just going to get left behind if they didn't open that trading. Let's see what happens. But the big story, the segment that I wanted to cover today, Phil, was Marty underscore P underscore B said Bottle Pay have rejected my incoming Bitcoin transaction due to the coins having been in Samurai Wallet and / or mixed with Samurai Wallet, Whirlpool. And it's just absolutely terrifying. Essentially, an exchange saying we cannot accept your Bitcoin because you decided to Coinjoin. We have been covering, this does not come to a surprise to me, Phil, because we have been covering on Simply Bitcoin, essentially what the U.S. government is positioning itself to be able to do so, and it wants to be able to sanction the countries that it currently sanctions under the dollar, and they want to be able to have that same type of enforcement with Bitcoin, so that what they're essentially doing is that they're forcing the exchanges, with the help of Coinbase, I might add. Coinbase offers U.S. Fed's new crypto surveillance tool. With the help of Coinbase and Chain Analysis, the company that we've been covering, which does all the, they just scour the blockchain and try to see which transactions are black and which are RK, based on their system. But I guess that this is kind of the strategy that the U.S. government is trying to do, in which they want to know where the Bitcoin is coming from if it's going into an exchange. If you're selling your Bitcoin, they want to know where it's coming from, right? And you know what? I don't think it's going to work, because what it's going to force people to do is it's just going to force people to stay in Bitcoin and just not to trade back into their fiat, right? So I think that this is a failing strategy. However, in the short term, these types of things are just going to keep ramping up as, the great war between, the fiat system and the Bitcoin system just progresses. You're going to see more hostile politicians and, more BS regulations like that. It's not like the exchanges want to do that. They're losing business. They're doing that as compliance, right? So that's even scarier, So they're doing that because from the top down, the compliance guys, the lawyers are saying, listen, Coinjoin, we can't accept that, So it's absolutely terrifying. But a little inside scoop, if you do 3 hops, usually, maybe it's changed. That's usually enough to kind of obfuscate yourself from the Coinjoin transaction that you did. So 3 hoops should get you in the clear. That's what I've heard. Maybe that's not true anymore. Phil, what are your thoughts on this? This is pretty scary, bro.
Yeah, so I think, so a couple of things. Bottle Pay is not an exchange. At least they weren't before they got shut down originally. Bottle Pay was a... what's it called? Like a tipping service, like a Lightning Pay service. That's
even scarier, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, this is actually worse than an exchange, because this is like a Bitcoin company.
I apologize. I should have said in the beginning as well that I've also heard, but I have not confirmed, but I've heard from word of mouth that it's happened to people that have deposited in exchanges as well.
Yeah.
That they'll send a message to that person saying, listen, we can't accept this transaction because it came from a Coinjoin or something like that. I should have specified. That was just the example that I ran into today, Phil.
Oh yeah, no worries. But I'm just saying, like, for the listeners, right, so that they know, like, Bottle Pay is not an exchange. Bottle Pay is like it's a Bitcoin product, a Lightning product. Anyways, look, this is scary as hell, like you're saying. I mean, this is just absolutely brutal, right? we've heard of stories like this here and there, but now it looks like it's really solidifying. So you remember what we said before about how like the system, all they can really do is like gatekeep, right? They're going to sit around the edges just watching. And essentially this is just going to force us to build out the ecosystem.
Absolutely. And you see their strategy. You see it. And it's crazy, Phil, because we've been covering it. So we've seen their strategy developing. And it's just starting to become more... It's starting to become crystal clear what they're trying to do. Right? With them trying to censor specific mining transactions, American mining pools. They're saying, listen, we're not going to accept some mining transactions because they're they're not KYC or whatever, the bullshit that they come up with. But they're doing this it's a full pronged attack. Okay, they're taking it seriously. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make Bitcoin an extension of their current system where this address belongs to this person, this address belongs to this person, this address belongs to this person. That's what they're trying to do. They will fail. It's not possible, but that doesn't mean they're not going to try, right? So, but oh my God, it just makes our job easier at Simply Bitcoin, and we are going to cover it. That being said, Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, looks like we've got BlueWallet version 6.0.6 that was released, and that is down below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed the episode, smash that like button. And of course, if you...
I'm going to just do it back to you.
Yeah, smash that like button. And if you love the show, don't forget to subscribe. And we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.